in this example, we have the e in two different places, right? So we're starting out, we've got the e here, we've got the e here, and we also want to draw the line to the equal sign. So since I have the e in two different places, I'm going to have to simplify that side of the equal sign. What's the first thing I'm going to do to simplify that? There's two things I need to do. What's the first one? Distribute. So there's actually two different places I can distribute, aren't there? All right, who wants to help me with the first one? Aiden? All right, so Aiden, when we distribute this 2 here, notice that we're doing 2 times the parentheses so we can distribute the 2. When I distribute that 2, then I'm going to have 2 times 2e, which is what? 4e. And I'm going to have 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. Okay, and then over here I have 3 times the parentheses. Who's going to help me with this one? Scott? So Scott, first of all, is this a 3 right here? Yeah, it's kind of a trick question, but it's not a 3, it's a negative 3. And that's really important, especially when we get to the second one. So Scott, what is negative 3 times e?
Negative 3.
All right, so since that's a negative 3e, we're going to subtract 3e. And what's negative 3 times positive 2?
It's negative 6.
That's a negative 6. So since it's a negative 6, we're going to subtract the 6. Can I distribute this anything to this negative 9 here?
No.
No, that's just going to come down, right? So we've got our equal sign, we've got our 9. It's really, really, really important, if we want to get the right answer at least, that we have the negative here. All right, does everybody understand why this is a negative 6? What's the next thing we're going to do? It's in your notes. It's on the other side of the paper. We're going to combine like terms. So on the right side, there are no like terms. But on the left side, we have a couple of them, don't we? We have the 4e here, and we have the negative 3e here. We also have that minus 8 and the minus 6. All right, so who's going to help me with combining like terms? Julia? Okay, so let's do the e's first. What's 4e and negative 3e? It's a positive and a negative, so we're going to add or subtract. Julia? We're going to subtract those. We're going to have the positive 4 and a minus 3. What's 4 minus 3, Julia? 1. So what we get there is 1e, right? And then with our negative 8 and negative 6, since they're both negative, are we going to add or subtract, Julia? Since they're both negative. So we're going to add those and we get 14. Is that going to be a positive 14 or a negative 14? Remember, they were both negative. Yeah, it's going to be a negative because both of those numbers were negative. When we combine two negative numbers, when we're adding them together, we get another negative number. And then on the right side, Julia, what do I do with that negative 9? I'm just going to bring that down. All right, now, before we move on to the next step, let me ask a question about this. Do I need that 1 in front of the e?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a 1.
Because it's a 1, right? Anytime we have a coefficient of 1, we can just drop it off. Really, what this means is 1 times e. Well, 1 times anything is the same thing, so it's just going to be e. All right, so we can leave that 1 off if we want. So when I move to the next step, I'm going to just leave the e off of there. What do I need to get rid of, though, to get the e by itself?
1.
I need to get rid of that minus 14. How am I going to get rid of the minus 14? I'm going to add 14. So I add 14 on both sides. On the left side, those 14s are going to cancel each other out, which leaves what? We're not going to put 1e, though. Remember, we said we could leave the 1 off, right? So we're just going to put the e there. You can put the 1 there, but you don't need it. And then on the right side, since we have a negative number and a positive number, are we going to add or subtract?
Add.
We have a negative number and a positive number. We're going to subtract. What's 14 minus 9, Kaylin? Okay, well, 14 minus 9 is 5, and you say it's going to be positive. Why? How do we know the answer is going to be a positive 5? Because the 14 is bigger and the 14 is positive, right? Now, There's nothing else I have to get rid of. I have the e by itself, so I'm done. I put a box around it. Now, what if we left the 1 on there? If we had the 1 here, would we still be done?
No, you're gonna have to divide by 1 on both sides.
Okay, what would happen if we divide by 1 on both sides?
The 1 cancel out
The 1 cancels out, and 5 divided by 1 is
5.
5. So it doesn't really change anything, does it?
No.
Remember, when the 1 is there, you don't have to divide by 1 to get rid of it. All you have to do is just get rid of it. So it would be extra work, which you don't need to do, if you divide by 1, because dividing by 1 doesn't change anything. This problem here, it's the same type of problem because we have the f in 2 different places. They're both on the same side of the equal sign, though. What's the first thing we're going to need to do? Distribute. So I'm going to distribute this 4. I'm going to do the 4 times the f and the 4 times the 3. But this is kind of a tricky one. That's not really a 4. It's a negative 4. So we have to be very careful about that. If we forget about the negative on there, then we would have a, well, plus 12, or we should have a minus 12. All right, so the negative 4 times f is going to be what? What's negative 4 times f? Negative 4f. Negative 4 times positive 3 is negative 12. I can't distribute anything else, so I'm going to bring the other stuff down. I've got 3f here, and I've got a 12 here, and got my equal sign on the line. All right, so I've distributed. Next thing I do is combine like terms. So I have like terms here, the 3f and the 4f. Since the 3f is positive and the 4f is negative, we're going to subtract. What is 4 minus 3? All right, so 4 minus 3 is 1. Since the 4 is bigger and the 4 is negative, it's going to be a negative 1. And since we're combining the f's, it's going to be negative 1f. Those 12s I'm just going to bring down because I can't combine those. So I have the minus 12 there, and I have the positive 12 there. All right, so to get this, well, this is kind of like the last problem where we have a 1 in front. Can I just get rid of this negative 1? I can't get rid of the negative 1 because then I would lose the negative also, right? So I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to get rid of it because I need to make sure that negative stays there. I technically could get rid of the 1 if I want, but I need to make sure the negative is still there. So I'll just leave the 1 with it. All right, so what do I need to do to get the f by itself? All right, we're going to add 12 to get rid of that minus 12. When I add 12 to both sides, the 12s are going to cancel. So we have negative 1f equals 24. Okay, good. So we need to get rid of that negative 1. We're going to do that by dividing by negative 1. So we divide by negative 1 on both sides. The negative 1s cancel each other out, which leaves what?
F equals negative 24?
Yes. So 24 divided by 1 is 24. But since it's a positive divided by a negative, we're going to get a negative answer. So we get f equals negative 24.